Bill, your house is really coming along. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
I love that green color.
I do too. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Charlotte let him pick it for about,
I like
you
the
know, 3
black
months.
stripes. The black stripes are my favorite.
I'm sitting there waiting on parts or windows or.
Windows,
We're about
doors,
30 seconds away,
electrician,
guys.
plumbers,
Anybody wants to help, huh? Yeah, I know, and they send in those guys that really get it with it. They'll spin, I think we're
I'll
up.
call this meeting to order, the Honeyburg Common Council. Let's stand for pledge allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Father God, thank you for those elected officials that are here today in this meeting. We ask now that decisions we make today may be for the benefit of our city. And we ask now these things in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Your motion to approve the minutes? Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second it.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. First thing up is the wheel tax. We did amend that. There is an amendment to what was considered last meeting. Part of those, you should have got the red line copy of those. Some of those amounts were lower to match what is presently being paid in the county. So essentially what will happen is anybody that's buying their license plate, their wheel tax, their excise tax in the future, they'll be paying the same as they always have. This ordinance will just allow for a different distribution of the funds, for some of those funds to come back in a different way to the city. And so that's why the red line version. So we would need consideration of that amended ordinance.
Yeah, if I could just briefly explain some of the amendments. As you know, last meeting you introduced ordinance number 2026-28, an ordinance adopting a local option highway user tax. The intent of that was, obviously, we need to adopt that tax in order to remain eligible for community crossing funds grants. And the intent of that was not to increase excise or wheel taxes on motor vehicles registered in the city of Huntingburg, but to track the county. When we got looking into it more closely, it looked like some of the taxes that were imposed in the original draft of 2026-28 would have increased taxes by up to $10 in some cases. So I've offered to you an amended version that you can approve the amendments by motion, but the amended version would amend 2026-28 as introduced in the following respects. With regard to the wheel tax, which is the tax on the heavier vehicles, it was a $35 tax in the ordinance as introduced. The amendment would make the taxes $25 for buses, $25 for recreational vehicles, $25 for semi-trailers, $25 for trailers with declared gross weight of more than 9,000 pounds, $25,000 for trucks and tractors of a declared weight of more than 11,000 pounds, but less than 78,000 pounds, $25. But trucks and tractors with a declared gross weight of $78,000 or more would be $40. That tracks what the county does. And then with regard to the motor vehicle excise tax, that's a tax that is on passenger vehicles and passenger type trailers. We had proposed a flat $25 fee on those and $15 on motorcycles. But in order to stay consistent with the county, that would be amended to provide that the tax would be an amount equal to 10% of the state excise tax value, but no less than $8. And that would include passenger vehicles, collector vehicles, trailer vehicles with a declared gross weight of $9,000 or 9,000 pounds or less, trucks with a declared weight of 11,000 pounds or less, mini trucks, military trucks, motorcycles, and motor-driven cycles. Those would be the amendments that you could pass by motion, and then you would consider final adoption of the amended ordinance.
So in a nutshell, this is equal to what their current residents are currently paying at the license branch.
Based upon our research with the county, yes, this would track exactly what the county is
Doing,
charging now, what every resident is now paying to the county. This would just redistribute some of those funds now to the city.
okay. So it's not an increase, we're just getting it sent here instead of the county.
That's correct.
Yeah, to be eligible for state funding on the CCMG and the lane miles, we have to hit the minimum, which that met the minimum requirements for wheel tax. The state does not consider us having wheel tax if it's collected and distributed by the county in a different manner with us, without us having a ordinance that specifies what our portion of that is, so. County will still be pretty well kept whole, so bridges and county roads will still be funded and such things.
So you need a motion to approve the amendment first.
Motion to approve the amendments as presented.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I probably ought to
We
do
do,
a roll
yeah, I
call
was
just
gonna
on the
s-
amendment.
Okay. Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays.
Aye, motion passes.
Now, if you choose, you could carry through to final adoption ordinance number 2026-28 as amended.
I'll make that motion to approve on the same night as read.
I'll
Oh.
second. Go ahead. I second.
So I have first and a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now we need a motion to pass 2026-28.
No, this is adopted.
I think you already adopted because it was introduced earlier.
Okay.
It was already introduced. So
Alright.
just do a roll call.
What's your vote going to be to adopt
Yeah,
or to suspend?
well,
Because we didn't need a suspend.
we've already, we amended, we changed the amendments. So this, we need
So we never
adoption.
adopted. We
Is
never
that a
said
motion?
adopt.
I thought it was a motion to adopt.
Okay. Thought we had to,
No, since you already introduced, you don't have to suspend rules.
okay, so yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays.
All right, thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. We got a lot of work to do in the next 6 days.
I think we had to get that passed tonight in order to qualify, right?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Great.
all right. Next up, Energy Superintendent, John Ruipoler.
Oh, no.
Council. Start off with the gas department. We did add 4 services this month. We have 2 applications on file. Actually got 2 more in today. 4 more. One of the crew members has been doing some valve inspections over in Jasper, Ireland area. For any leaks. So we want to get them fixed before the winter gets here. We had one a couple months ago, found it, we got it fixed. I had to dig it up. But got her all done. And they've been spending most of the month changing out 2 gas meters. Actually changed 90 out since the last meeting. I think it was really good. We got about 100 to go. I have 110, but they've actually changed out 10 since I made this report out. So got about 100 meters to go. I've been working real hard on that. We're gonna try to get it all wrapped up before winter comes. Then it's a lot harder to change them out then. Any questions on the gas?
Here.
None here.
Not here.
Electric side, they put 2 new services in. And we did finish On the electric side, we finished changing all our meters out to Census, smart meters. And you can see roughly what we spent. We started that 2.5 years ago. So that's one big expense that we ain't gonna have to worry about for many, many years. So I'm just glad to get that behind us. And then the crews changed out 3 primary poles, one on East Third, and the others on East Sunset this month. Poles are old, aged, and starting to lean, so we got them all changed out. Then it did do 3 secondary poles. Them are the poles that hold the lines going to the houses from the transformers. Starting to change out several of them. And I'd like to congratulate Trevor Hunefeld, Jarrett Paulin. It's been a week, first week of this month in Greenfield, testing out of year 3. They're now in year 4, which is the final year of their apprenticeship program. That's a really big jump for them. From year 3 to year 4, you can go up and work energized primary lines now.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, it's a really big jump, safety wise, risk wise. They can put the rubber gloves on and go up and handle the energized lines, which are over 7,000 volts that they'll be holding in their hand. Talked with them, make sure they're comfortable with it. They are. They've had a lot of training. So congratulations to them. And then I don't know if you've ever seen the guys working up in the bucket. What their rubber gloves are like, that you can hold 7,000 volts in your hand. Just show and tell. Like a little show and tell.
I love this part.
Yeah.
I've seen these before.
Okay.
I wanna see that.
A rubber glove.
Oh,
You got a leather protector.
yeah.
That's what you gotta wear. And look at 'em.
Nice. Use those skiing, could you?
If it's tested to 20,000 volts, you gotta send them off every 6 months.
Of course, you can move
Oh
your
my
fingers wearing both
gosh.
of them.
These an old pair or this?
Jeez.
That's my pair.
I was gonna say
Oh.
this isn't.
Still get used as much.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, these will look like brand new.
If I recall, they had like a special bag they put them
Yeah,
in.
bags.
They protected them like a
You can see they stamp, when we send them off every 6 months.
This would be hard to.
stamp of.
How do you move your
Stamp the date on
fingers?
there.
X-ray or whatever.
It's really gotta get used to it, huh?
Don't poke any holes in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
You
Move
have
it along, move it along.
How often do these have to be changed out for a guy that's, on the crew?
We test it every 6 months. We send them off.
But I mean, how
And
often
then
would
you have an
normally have
exchange,
to
you have
replace them?
several sets or not?
2 set,
How
A
expensive
few
are they?
sets. Okay, that's what I wanted. Yeah.
we tear a set. They got a spare set and then we order a new set.
How expensive are they?
Pardon?
How expensive are they?
About $340. About
Maybe-
$10 to test.
You get about
I feel-
5 feet away from the line, your hair stands on
I
end.
feel sorry for the guy who's got to put his hand in there and test it.
I mean, you can, I mean, you're there, don't you?
That deer blood I see on it?
Your blood.
You test them. You know they're red inside?
Yeah.
You know why that is?
No.
When you test them, you got a cut or a small hole,
Yeah.
you'll see
Oh.
red.
It'll
Oh.
blow, yeah. But
Yeah.
You get a cut in there, you test them, you'll air, so you wind them up and test them.
then, yeah.
Inspect them every time before you use them every time.
Yeah.
If you got a crack in them, you'll see a red,
You see the red come out.
then you know they're no good.
Oh, really?
So then they get trashed. You gotta get a new set.
Okay. $300.
Yep.
You ever ride the snowmobile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
good.
important.
Take them home for new pot holders
Yeah, there
after
you go,
they're,
pot
the
holders.
broken ones,
Just thought I'd show that to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's cool. Thank you.
Moving on.
Broken.
Got a quote for some underground primary wire. From Brownstown, they're the only company that's allowed to sell in this area. It's for 13,000 feet. It's 2,500 feet to come on a roll, but that's a random number. So maybe
Really?
25, depends on when they stop the machine and cut the wire. So basically, they price it per foot. It may come $13,100, or
Mhm.
it's gonna be close to that amount,
Does he need a motion for that?
yeah.
And this,
Uh,
what is this wire used for?
Underground primary,
Do
we
approve
could
it
pass
for
it not
up
to exceed 13,500.
13.5, you think it's adequate?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Yeah, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries to purchase.
Second quote is for poles, wooden poles. The low bid was for Thomason Lumber for 19,672. And I have the three quotes. The one quote, I got the three quotes there for the poles. That would be the lowest from Thomason Lumber. There's some 40-foot, 30-foot poles that we're starting to get a little low on.
Are the prices going down at all, or are they still staying high from COVID prices?
I mean, lumber is
They're probably similar.
similar. It's not too much difference from last time.
First thing's killing on lumber, the lumber might be cheaper, but freight's higher,
Yeah,
Mm.
so.
that's why we order a,
Well, and the treatment,
that's why we order a
the
truckload
treatment,
at
I
a
guess,
time.
over the years
Doesn't
hasn't,
change much.
We order a truckload at a
rates high
time.
on everything.
You're gonna pay the same whether you get a half a load
Or
or
whole
full load. So we always quote a full load.
All right.
Yeah, the freight's the freight.
Awesome.
At 42 on here, right?
There's no difference between the contract, between the bidders as far as the quality of the poles, is there?
Same.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the pole quote from Thomason.
That's fine.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Got a first and second on the Thomason quote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
And the final quote for transformers. These are for Poplar Ridge. Brownstown was the lowest. 4 transformers. It's for the 2 new 3-story buildings that are gonna be coming on probably first of the year. So we got time to get them in. The lowest quote is 38,436.40. One company did not quote us back. So we sent them an email with the specs on them.
Was the building owners, property owners gonna assist in buying, help us buy that too? Is that not? It's totally
About a
us.
7-year payback on it.
I'm talking about that.
We do that with all.
Pardon me?
You're trying to get 4, right?
4, yeah.
2 in and 2 backups?
No, 4.
You got backups already?
Yes, we got backup.
Okay.
But there's actually 2 to each building,
Oh, that's right.
transformers.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase from Brownstown, $38,436.40.
I'll second.
Got a first, second on Brownstown. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
Any questions on the electric?
A lot
I
cheaper.
have a
and coming
comment
in
on the
off-
electric. Very pleased, very blessed to have a great electric department in our municipality. Unlike some of the northern Indiana issues that they're having with trying to get power back up.
Yep.
We are not having those problems, so, thank you.
That's one thing of doing some maintenance every year.
Yeah, I think they're really struggling up there.
It's pretty rough up there, but
Yeah.
we do what we can do.
Yeah, but you put a lot of stuff underground, a lot of
A lot
maintenance every
underground,
year,
A lot of new poles,
so
ductile iron poles on the main lines,
makes a difference.
so. Do some maintenance every year. It's important.
It is important, and you could be sitting on your laurels and you're not, you're like going out and actively looking for stuff, so I appreciate that,
Yep.
because we don't realize how good we have it unless you're somewhere else, or, then,
Yeah, if you don't, yeah.
and I've been somewhere else, I know how it is, so, thank you, I appreciate that.
My daughter lives in a suburb of Cincinnati. She's been without power 3 times this summer for an extended period of time.
No fun.
Yeah, and that's not even the whole year. That's just since
Yeah.
it got hot.
They
Since
do
the
a
air
good-
conditioner was running, so.
They do a good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, and you take good opportunities too, John, like when you changed out these primary poles out here on Sunset, you recognize the opportunity, you went in and did it at the opportune time where it wasn't gonna disrupt business, and it's really a time to do it.
We got over 3,600 poles on our system, so. We've been placing poles heavily for the last 10 years.
Sure.
It's
I know,
making a difference.
it does.
I'm happy that you're replacing them while they're still standing versus laying on the ground.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
And it makes it
Superintendent, Jerry Austin.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Hi, Jerry.
We'll jump into our distribution work here. We had a water main break at 13th and Jacobs Court. There we found bottom of the water main had given out. Was able to repair that with a stainless steel repair clamp, not disrupt water other than just low water pressure during the time of the leak. From there, we were able to get out to Southridge High School. We got their last 2 water meters replaced. They've got a meter vault there at the high school that has a 6-inch meter in it. We had to rebuild a large portion of that meter vault due to the different lay length of the newer meter. The old lay length was 10 inches. The new lay length was 18 inches. So everything in that vault was either 6-inch or 8-inch ductile. So we spent almost a full 8-hour day out there with that project. From there, we had the street department. They had a flush hydrant that quit working that they used to fill their street sweeper up with. We went out there and had to completely rebuild that flush hydrant for them. And then we did take a little bit of time this last month with the Badge and Blaze camp that the fire department, police department put on for the community. It's a great camp. Kids learn a lot. My daughter went through it this year. She was old enough. And every day she came home, she raved about the things that they learned, the things that they did. And did you know the fire department and the police department did this? So those guys are doing great with that. But with that on Friday, they had a little bit of fun the last half of the day. We got to help with that by constructing about 120-foot slip and slide there for them. Took us about 20 minutes the morning of. We had some local contractors, Triple T Contracting loaned us some 4-inch pipe to roll our edges up with our plastic, and everything was donated, and the kids had a blast with it. So from there, we had a service line leak at 407 North Geiger. I did add a picture with that one. Kind of something that we normally see in bigger commercial areas from way back in the day before they had the capabilities of tapping 2-inch services and larger. This was on the old Chase Studio building. I've always known it as being the Chase Studio photography building. I did hear while we were there that they used to slaughter cows behind that building, so it could have been due to that that business. But they had what you have here.
Meat locker.
The meat locker was on 4th Street right there.
Yeah.
Right there with it.
Cattle lot.
Was there a cattle lot there? Okay, so we're trying to piece it together, piecing history together. But if you look at that, there was 3 1-inch lines that were tapped on the main and all tied together to an 1.5-inch service line there that came into that meter pit. That top service line where it is tied in there to the 3 was actually threaded brass. Threaded fittings, they don't really belong underground. I know John has a heck of a time with them with the gas as well. It's something that they practice that they used to do many years ago. So we try to stay away from those fittings like that. So 1 out of the 3 service lines leaked on that. When we did put it back, we did put it back as just 1 1-inch service line. There's only a 5/8 by 3/4 meter there. That property's pretty much turned residential. They live there, so we replaced that for them, and they were happy with their water pressure and volume afterwards. They said they couldn't even tell a difference. So from there, we did finally get with Farbest this past weekend. We spent roughly 9 hours at Farbest changing out their last 6-inch and 3-inch water meter. So The whole crew came in and did that. All 5 guys partook in that and got that taken care of this Saturday. And then we've also been working really hard on our lead and copper survey to finish up those unknowns. We've got just a hair under 200 left. We're hoping within the next couple months we'll have them completely done and our inventory over with, and we won't have to touch on that anymore. From there, filter plant. We did clean out our sludge basins. We have our 4 basins that all of our backwash water goes into out of our filter plant. So I mean, mainly lake mud, a little bit of chemical residual. That's the reason why they have to sit there in those detention basins. We are allowed to dewater the water off those basins to the ditch as our solids do fall out, but usually once a year we end up having to transfer those solids to our drying beds, and then from there it's kind of like wastewater. Once it dries, we load them out and they're land applicated by a biohazard facility. That took roughly two 8-hour days doing that. It takes 3 employees to do. It's very timely, very long days outside in the heat on the concrete. From there, our metering system with the Southridge meter and the Farbest meters, we can finally say that the city of Huntingburg has a full complete water meter system with one brand meter and one brand meter system within the city. I know that's been
Yay!
talk to you guys about that.
Yeah.
I can't take full responsibility for that. That started with Gary Meyerholtz. He started that program. We just seen it through and we've got it finished. So we're 100% completed there and happy to be done with that. Other than maintaining and new services, that's all you'll hear as far as the metering system from us, as far as just continuing to keep up with door tags for leaks and abnormal water usage and things like that. So
I did have a question on the
Yes, ma'am.
lead and copper. Those residents that have lead and copper, you sent them letters?
the
Are you
ones that have
waiting to-
lead, we
mean
just
lead, yes,
we
I'm
get them.
sorry, yeah.
When we find them, we change them out right away. We do let the homeowners know that they were lead, that we have changed them. So yeah, they are being notified of that.
Okay.
Usually creates a little bit of concern. We've got some documentation we give with that explains the safety factors of having lead service line, but also the like when lead's been in the ground for so long as it's not disturbed, it creates a coating inside that service line. So as far as being exposed to it, you are exposed to it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but it's minimal amounts. That's the EPA is just really pushing, and IDEM's really pushing to get them out of the ground. So anytime that you have galvanized on the homeowner side downstream from lead, the EPA, they see that as that galvanized could potentially hold those lead particles. So we highly suggest that the homeowner have their lines replaced for that matter. The copper and the plastic, no issues with there. And then, we usually talk to them with the older homes when we do find lead and make contact with them to, that there's lead test kits that you can buy if you want to go further inside your house to be able to test fittings and your faucets, anything that's, anything before 1984 can contain lead, whether it be solder, brass fittings, sink faucets, paint, things like that. So, yeah,
I think it's a question that came up because I think now for younger children, they're testing like babies for lead,
Right.
or that's part of it. And
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, maybe it's in the water because it wasn't in houses. If it wasn't in their paint, then it's like, well, maybe that was part of
Right.
it, but it might be the fittings too
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, and Huntingburg's always been really good about replacing lead lines when we find them. When we did that water main project down Main Street from pretty much the Fairmont Cemetery to Veterans Parkway, we replaced over 86 lead service lines during that project. So anytime we find them, we don't leave them in the ground. We remove them immediately and take care of the problem there. So the city's always been, many superintendents before my time has been very proactive with that, just due to the potential health risks and hazards. So
I was certified as a lead abatement contractor. I can tell you, we never found, normally that coating protected them from anything picking up, because they would
They
build
would-
up a coating very quickly in those lead lines.
Mhm.
Paint, that's a different story, but you know, with those lead lines, if they're inside, it's a different story too,
Right.
than
Yep.
if they're underground, so.
Yep.
Jerry, this mandate went out all across the country, right?
It did, yep.
And-
Yep.
and-
Yeah, we jumped on it right away. We were about a year and a half early with getting our stuff done. We did last year. We had a pretty rough year with main replacements, a few other things that we did, and we didn't get hit this as hard as we wanted to last year. We were hopeful to have it done by the middle of the year this year, but with all the other things that kind of pulled us away with water main replacement and things like that. We're back on it hot and heavy right now and plan to have it done here in the next, like I said, roughly 2 months. So definitely before the end of the year. I don't want to give any false hope. Things come up every day. But we do plan to have it taken care of and completely wrapped up and taken care of.
You have to vote on this easement.
And then, yeah, I do have one other thing here that's included in your board pack. We have our phase 5 pit located out at the water treatment facility. It sets just east. I did include a map there with my stuff. It does set just east there of our high service pump building. On that picture, if you see the circle with the rectangle kind of sitting beside it there, up here kind of shows where the current vault is. It's at about the lowest part of the property down there. The vault that is currently there is concrete. It's dilapidated. It's starting to fall apart. Patoka Water wants to replace the vault, but they don't want to replace it in the same spot just due to the fact that it's going to continue to happen due to the water table so high there. They have came out and it's staked off out there where they're proposing to put a new meter vault. We have had all utilities locate out there. The property is owned by the city. We see no issues with it affecting anyone as far as moving that up on top of that hill. We do have a right-of-way easement that Patoka Water did write up in order to obtain an easement there to have that vault. They will have to extend their line up to that vault. But short of this easement, we'll have the city will have a little cost incurred in this as far as our SCADA equipment due to the fact that the vault is being moved roughly 500 feet to the east. So we will acquire some costs there to get our SCADA moved. We have been working, Dave Ferguson, he handles all of our controls and SCADAs and stuff in-house. He works with Torque, which is our SCADA provider. And we have gotten with him and he's currently working up prices and things for that. So we'll have that ahead of time as well.
Relocating existing equipment or is it new equipment?
We will pretty much everything that's in the vault, Patoka Water owns. We just kind of piggyback off of it. If that makes sense. We do have a multiplier that's in there that piggybacks off of theirs for our SCADA. That was recently replaced. So as far as any of the equipment that we have, it'll just be wiring. All of our stuff will transfer up there. Maybe might end up requiring a cabinet, a stainless steel weatherproof cabinet. But to put our stuff in, currently it's all combined into their stuff. So they might want us to separate that. And then with that, we will currently, that vault is fed off of line power. It has its own meter base. So while we are pulling those wires for SCADA, we are going to bring the power from our high service pump building. That building is under generator power. So anytime the electric goes out, we lose our Patoka pit controls. So we can't turn the pit on, we can't turn it off. There's nothing we can do with it as well as Patoka. So somebody physically has to go out there. We get an alarm with our SCADA system. It calls our on-call guy. If no one's there, they have to come in, physically shut that pit off or turn that pit on, whatever's needed. And then someone has to stay there with it and monitor it until that power's back on. We haven't had a power outage in quite a while out there. We kind of had a little project out there a few years ago where we removed a bunch of those pine trees that were dying and falling on the power lines. So, but this is a way to just be able to make our system better by bringing that power from our high service pump building off generator. So the right-of-way easement, it was provided in your board pack. I have submitted that to Phil and Neil. And I'll let Phil touch base on that with you guys. And
Yeah, it's just an easement to allow them, it's actually a 16-foot wide easement that would be situated, 185 feet south of Highway 64 from the boat ramp entrance west, to the high service pump building. It'd be so it's like 16-foot wide permanent easement, but a 20-foot wide temporary construction easement. For the sole purpose of installing wholesale metering equipment and associated water lines. It would be in their favor. We'd be granting it to them so that they can maintain their metering vault and associated lines.
So we'll need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Well, we're just giving them as an easement so they can get to their stuff,
That's
their equipment.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Like that.
well, that's all I've got.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Jerry. You have a copy that you need. You need, which one?
I don't have a copy. but
Okay.
I can get it. I can make another copy.
We'll work on it in the morning, get it signed and,
Yeah.
so.
It has to
go
be
from-
notarized too, so.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do that.
Jerry, I didn't ask, but did we get, some kind of a reconciliation on getting these, utility cuts cleaned up and put back in asphalt or something?
Van Buren, that we spoke about, that'll be.
Will you come up to the,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, come back up where they can
people
hear
want to
you.
hear this.
No, I was contacted, this past, what was that? Was that Thursday, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday? Spoke with, you and, after we off the phone, I did talk with Jason. They were scheduled to be paved, sometime in November. They have been moved up to, 8th and Van Buren will be paved tomorrow, along with a few other streets in town, a few other, utility patches. And then Friday is a tentative date for 7th and Van Buren, utility cut to be, paved.
Okay.
And then, Hickory Street. I didn't talk about that up here because we did that after this,
It's fine.
board pack went out, but we did, the top of Hickory and Maple Street. That is the furthest west, intersection. Hickory loops there.
Yeah.
So, kind of been a little problem area for us. Hickory Street down the hill to the dead end was a problem area. We replaced that water main 6 years ago.
Yes.
The intersection there where that main does come across the asphalt, we've had, since the 8 years I've been here, we've had 3 water main breaks and they've all just been here recently there. We went in there, we repaired them. We've kind of put together a game plan to replace that intersection. It's, towards the top of our list to do. We ended up having another, a little bit more water surface there in that intersection. Guess that would be the week before last. So we decided to go ahead and move that up to last week and, replace that water main throughout that intersection. To our surprise, when we dug that intersection up, we found 15 repair claims and 60 feet of pipe.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Is that all?
3 of those were put on in the last 3 years. The rest of them is before that.
I think that's been I don't think that was a great job when it got put in. We've had problems with
There,
that street. for-
everything is set on sandstone. It's all set on bedrock. I can't tell you how many boulders from, 4 inches up to 12 inches we pulled out of the ground that were setting over the top of that. So they've been dug out once. But anytime water pipes put in the ground, whether it's plastic, metallic, copper, it has to be bedded. Has to be bedded in something because that pipe vibrates. Whenever those sharp rocks and things set on that pipe, no matter the material, it sits there and vibrates and it rubs holes in the pipe. I'll have some pictures. We did take some pictures of it. There's a few spots where when we pulled that pipe out of the ground, the pipe came out in a couple pieces. And where it came out in pieces, it's so thin, it looks like you take a Coke can and twist it apart. There was a section of it that actually looked like Swiss cheese that had been leaking for quite some time that had just never surfaced. It was on the other side of the intersection that we hadn't dug in. So, that's something there too that had been a problem. And just with the location that it's in, being buried in that bedrock, the path of least resistance will take it miles before it'll surface. There's a big ravine down there nearby. So as far as why we didn't see it, I can only imagine that was the cause of
Why-
that. But
Yeah, it's not gonna surface at the
we-
top of the hill.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we did replace that section across the road there. And then when we did that, we set it up to where whenever we do get up there to replace the water main around Hickory Drive, around the loop, we do have an inline valve there now to tie onto to reduce the amount of water outages and things like that for the other people in that area.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I noticed your picture earlier over here that a rock was holding up one of those lines.
yeah, yeah, it's everywhere we go. Anytime we dig up anything that's been put in, probably I would say honestly before like 1995, wasn't backfilled in anything other than the dirt that's there. We make a joke. The gas department guys do as well. It's the running joke. Anytime you're digging and you find chunks of asphalt, you're going to find a water service, water main, gas service, or gas main.
Pretty
It's,
much.
Yeah,
it's
trying to
just
figure out if
inevitable.
That was a rock or
It's they
asphalt.
just dug it up and dumped it right back in the hole.
Back in the hole.
And it's a bear sometimes, especially whenever you've got a section exposed and then you catch a big boulder that's in the trench wall and now it's halfway out hanging over pipe that's exposed and you got to figure out how to get it out of there without it falling on the pipe and busting the pipe apart.
Breaking stuff.
So, yeah, but that is the plan for those.
And
And
then,
then,
And we do have contracted out for the other breaks like on
The-
Fifth and
They're at Short Fourth
Geiger
and Van
and-
Buren,
yeah,
and then
over here.
Fifth Street between Walnut and Geiger. Those are with contracted out with J.H.
Yeah,
Rudolph, I
mm.
believe.
something up here on
and,
Van,
uh,
there's something on Van Buren up here.
yeah.
Yeah, Van Buren and Short Fourth.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
up here, right?
Yeah,
it's
so that's
been there.
contracted out. That's larger than what the street department would like to handle, as well as Fifth Street. Fifth Street was a large leak there.
And you're doing your
So
you're doing your circles in-house?
yeah, yep.
You're doing
Yeah,
those?
we're still backfilling those. We're still patching those.
Okay.
And we're keeping up. Jason Stom, street superintendent, he just sent out a new list of roads that he's looking to apply for community crossing grants for next year. So anything that hasn't been done on those roads, whether it be lead service line inventory, water main replacements, services, anything like that, we're making sure we put that at the front of our list to make sure that's taken care of before roads are paved.
Good.
And I believe Van Buren between 7th and 8th is supposed to be repaved this year as well towards the November when the contractors come in.
all the way from 6 to 8.
We'd
Yeah,
like to go,
6.
we'd like to go from the highway to the railroad tracks.
Right, yeah, that's
Like
the way
to.
it's supposed to be. No, is that November?
I
think is a tentative
It'll
date.
probably be sooner than that.
Yeah, but that's we go up there. I know rock's always bad in a trench. Unfortunately, Van Buren is it's a main highway, I feel like, or an interstate even.
It's a major thoroughfare. It's a
I
major
don't know if
thoroughfare.
anybody realizes it's 25 and not 40, but
I heard
we ever since we did that, we've been going up there about twice a week and adding rock and packing rock in there. But when cars are driving 40 mile an hour over a rock trench and the amount of rain that we've had, it's we go up there, like I said, twice a week to maintain that. And we know on the weekends when it comes Monday, we need to get up there to do it because they have rock blowing out of it. So,
Very good, thanks.
all right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jerry.
City Attorney Phil Schneider.
I have nothing further.
Next, we have Clerk Treasurer Thomas Stipple. We first have to open up the public hearing if you want to explain what the
Yeah,
public
it's
hearing
a
is for.
public hearing for an additional appropriation for $390,000 from the LRS fund to be used for Fourth Street roadway adaptation, which is the pit concrete under all the street pavers.
And there was, this hearing was noticed on Gateway. Gateway, is that what it was then?
Yep. Notice was put on Gateway, so.
Have to make a motion to open it? It's open now.
It's open now. So,
Good.
any comments before we ask for consider the ordinance of adoption?
LRS is a,
Local road and street.
that's what I thought it was. I looked earlier before the meeting.
Local road and street, we've just gotta appropriate it. It's not going to go till it's next year.
If it gets under contract, by the end of the year, it can be encumbered into next year.
Okay.
Otherwise, we have to do this all over again.
Our calendar is that we'll have it, hopefully under contract by Thanksgiving, and then we can get notice to proceed and bonds and everything else that we need to move the project forward. The idea would be that, between the first week of February and April 2nd is when that work would be completed. That's the goal. If not, we will have to wait until June because of some of the other activities, the strolls and different things.
Scheduled events.
Considerations with businesses with events that are happening during April and May. We didn't think it'd be fair to get their business during those 2 months, so.
How long would you expect from the day they start to finish?
It'll take 8 weeks,
2 months. Yeah.
8 to 9 weeks
For the entire,
for the entire thing.
Both sides.
Yeah, because it's gonna have to set, mineral type concrete adaptation they do is anywhere from 1 to 2
The
weeks.
building to one side at a
So,
time,
yeah.
one half at a time.
yeah, one half, they won't be
We'll
doing
do
it
the
all.
east side, and west side, one then the other. We have to make special considerations for the bank and the drive-up window and fire access, department access and those type of things. We got it pretty well figured out.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's hard coordinating a project like that and to be a good finished product, but also be as little disruption to the businesses there that over the last 6 years have gone through a lot.
Yeah, from a contractor standpoint, it's gonna be better than the last time, because they'll be able to park their equipment in the parking spaces. We'll still have 8-foot sidewalks outside of that, to keep the businesses, access, and we have parking lots behind those buildings that weren't there the last time it was done.
Yeah, true.
But this, the intent, of course, that this is a 50-year product, it's not a 3-year like it was last time,
Yeah.
or 10 or 12 with other options, so.
This is a public here, so I think we have some.
So if there are no comments, we'll close the public hearing and ask for.
It's-
Yep.
We have one.
Did you
comment?
ask for comment?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can we have, comments from?
No comment.
Randy Waugh, I live at 214 East Fourth. It's probably a little late in the game on this issue, but I live on 4th Street. And when was that road done with all the pavers? Because I was in Texas in 2017. So when was that road done? It was after that, right? The pavers and everything?
2019.
No, it was
Oh,
done
17,
just right before COVID. I mean,
Was it that
a
late?
year or so before COVID.
Maybe 2019.
That was 8 years ago. Oops, 7
Okay,
years.
so say
Was that-
2018.
I think it's
20
18. I think.
2018. So what was the problem with the street? Why did it sink? From what I hear in the community is somebody said there was some extra funds and there's supposed to have been a certain base put under the pavers, but they didn't do it because somebody said we could reuse that money somewhere else. Is that true?
No.
There were a couple of options, as I recall. There were a couple of options. We could either asphalt, put an asphalt base down or compacted rock base. It was engineered so the compacted rock base would be used so that water would permeate through the pavers and be discharged in the ground. As it turned out, that probably wasn't the best design. It just didn't last.
If I remember correctly, we had issues down at Market Street Park where there's a lot of money being spent down there. And one of them was to adjust and take money from somewhere else and put it down there to fix
I don't
Market Street
recall
Park.
that,
I also
And-
think that there was something too,
and,
like around 2018 is whenever they were doing more, construction was like that in Indianapolis. They were doing a lot of asphalt that was supposed to be more permeable too, where it like, well, now all of that's being torn out and replaced because it just doesn't work. But they were trying to displace the water more naturally whenever they put asphalt covering on it. I think also another issue is that the speed limit is 10 miles an hour on 4th Street. And I think if anybody has been on 4th Street at any point in time, I don't think I've seen anybody drive 10 miles an hour. There was also delivery trucks that weren't supposed to be on 4th Street that were making deliveries on 4th Street and that starting and stopping. I think there was a culmination of things. I think we also had the intention of pulling up the papers and repacking. That was part of the plan, correct?
Supposed to have been
That was
retracked
done and
in
it
5
just
years.
got pushed off and pushed off. So I think, I don't know, there's stuff underneath the road there, so it's like the best solution. I think
Yeah,
gravel seems like a good solution because it could, the water could permeate through and because there was an issue too on Fourth Street before with the water. And that's why we have those grates in the middle, which make people crazy
Everybody
too.
flood.
So it's just,
So
Um,
as a result, you know, in the beginning, and I'm not sure it was tied to Market Street Park because those were federal highway dollars that couldn't be used in Market Street Park. Those had to be used on Fourth Street for pavement and roadways. That at the time it was done, according to engineers in 2019, that they suggested in 3 to 5 years, that you pick it up and do it again. You know, after I become mayor, we ran through a lot of scenarios, looked at ways that we could afford it. One of those was if we did it again, compact the material, put it back in, wasn't sure that it could last more than 8 or 10 years. We couldn't, but we also need the permeability, so it's been engineered now so that will be compacted. It'll be a layer of concrete. There'll actually be holes in that concrete that will accept anything that goes through the pavers. There will be a layer of material between the bricks and the concrete you can't lay bricks right on concrete, they'll just crack, you know, but there will be a layer of material there that will cushion that's also permeable. The expected life expectancy is anywhere from 30 to 50 years.
So I think what he was referring to, that we had some money that was supposed to be used somewhere else and we used it on Fourth Street. That's sort of right. There was $50,000 that was gonna go toward the senior citizens. But we were told we could use this money and reapply and get more money. By the time that all happened, they took that reapply or application away. So we couldn't get more money. So.
So
that's what I remember.
who was the engineering firm that designed that street in 2018, 2019?
Well,
VS Engineering, and it performed as
Who?
VS Engineering,
BS.
and it did perform as they said it would. They said that it would do what it's done. They've guaranteed that would happen, that you would have to pick up the bricks and do it again. It was one of 4 options presented, and that was the one that was voted on at the time. Different people were making that decision, so
Well,
to come here and bring it up to the people that were not involved in that decision, I guess we can just rehash it.
So today, the city's gonna spend, is it over 800,000
Yep.
over something that was just done 8 years ago? That
So you
don't
wanna
even
s- Well,
sound
the other
right.
option is keep it as it is, which is not
Well,
an option.
sometimes, you know, when houses are built and they settle, people say, oh, I got a foundation problem, but you know, I have a lot of experience with foundations and, you know, sometimes you're better off leaving it alone, and when it settles, that's where it's gonna end up at, you know?
Mhm.
But, so, I'm sorry I didn't make the other meetings on this, agenda item, but to me, I wouldn't waste the money on the pavers. And I heard you, Mayor, in one meeting say, well, that's what they wanted. Who's they?
merchants.
The merchants?
Merchants, our Board of Public Works and Safety, all the committees that brought together to bring in all the options that were there. And these options were also vetted over a year and a half time.
But-
we didn't rush into this.
I know, I've
decision.
been watching. But the thing is, it seems like it's a luxury item for they, when really, who's paying for it? The whole city taxpayers' money? And you're pulling 300 or 400,000 from the 400 West out there?
The other options include, you say 850,000, but actually the difference is only 300,000 from just doing a standard pavement.
Yeah, I'm
So-
just wondering why you couldn't come in and just leave like where the sidewalks or the concrete is, where this cars start parking, just the middle. Why couldn't it just be asphalt? Why wouldn't that be sufficient
That was
for a
a-
city
that
to
was
provide
a-
just basic, you know, to
That
the,
was an option that was presented in several public hearings and vetted during the public hearings, and that idea was rejected.
well, usually there's nobody sitting out here in the audience, and that's, you know, like even tonight, you know, I mean, I don't see hardly any
Well,
input.
they were. and these are televised. It was published in,
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I don't think enough people would come up here and talk, about that. But that's what, I mean, to me, it should just be paved and use the money somewhere else, because when I look at the meetings.
too
and I
late for
watch-
that now. It's already been voted on, so.
But I'm just telling you my opinion.
I know.
When I watch this, there's so much repairs to do in other places. It seems like that is an unnecessary amount of money to spend just for that. And, so I wanted to speak on that since it was a public hearing tonight.
Fourth Street is sort of the heart of our community, so we gotta make sure it's done right, in my opinion.
And I do think that there's always gonna be roads to fix. It's like a house. A city is
Yeah.
constantly gonna have things to fix. And I think that I'm on Fourth Street a lot, just as a merchant or as a customer, I
So
guess.
you're
Is that what I
resident.
am? A resident? Yeah. Okay, thanks. I'm not a merchant. But it is where, that is one thing I mean, it's getting awful. Something has to for sure be done because we drive our golf cart a lot. And it's like, if you are not going slow, you're gonna really ramp up over those,
And
at the intersection.
Yeah.
So I think, my hope also is that it will help the grates, if everything is more level and even, that those grates won't make so much noise.
well, I was gonna bring that up. We're not gonna address the great noise at all.
They're tied down. I mean, they gotta stay there, that's the main part of our drainage.
You thought about the noise.
Well, I know, but it's a very noisy grate if you live close to there.
There's enough room, they don't have to drive on, it, but people do.
They do all the time. I think they do it on purpose.
I do
Okay.
think they do it on purpose because whenever I really look at them, then sometimes they really burn through on the grates.
Well-
It is a frustrating issue. And I think the largest part is people need to slow down. Fourth Street traffic is way too fast. And
People
if they're going so fast that they're swerving if people are sitting outside or standing outside their cars, they're swerving so that they're on the other, crossing the lane of traffic. And then that's when they hit the grates.
People still struggle to park down there, even on the way over here tonight. I mean, the guy was sticking out 18 inches from the parking. I mean, it's a real struggle. So anyway, thank you. But I do have some
thank you,
more
Randy.
comments in the
Thanks, Randy.
citizens agenda. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Consider,
Just close the hearing.
so we can close the hearing and now we're ready to consider adoption of the ordinance 2026-27. Roving,
I'll make a motion. Consider adopting ordinance 2-26-27.
I'll second the motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Kissling. Bounds.
Aye.
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays.
We have to suspend.
5 ayes. Nope, it was introduced already.
All
It's
right.
actually 5 ayes,
Okay.
right?
Five ayes. Did I say 4?
I said 4.
Any council items?
None.
None. Any citizen items?
Randy Wall again. I know everybody here does the best they can. And I know these employees back here for the city, they seem to be very busy. And, that's a lot to be said, how much they do in this small town. And I watched one meeting where like the street department has like only 5 people under them. It seems like maybe you're short in some areas. I picked up on that. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was several things. I own a farm out there on the north side of town that I'm very proud of. I started in this last spring. I started January the 1st in the winter. And it took me to March 31st to hand clean from the top of a hill where Hoosier Energy lines are, all the way down to the highway, all the way over to utility supply by hand. I worked out there every day. Maybe a couple of days when it was 10 inches of snow, I didn't. But I had guys show up here and there to help me. Spent thousands of dollars doing it by hand because you never know what's out there. There's old fence lines and everything, so I do it by hand. There's some drainage issues down there too, and I'm talking to utility supply about that. But there's a tree line down there on my property, and I don't use any kind of chemicals on my land. I don't think it's right. And I showed up there a couple of weeks ago, and somebody has come down through there and just killed everything on the fence line. just sprayed it. Without calling me, without asking me. If they just would have called me and said, hey, we're mowing down here, we have water lines down here and sewer and gas lines. We need to, clean this up. But I had there and I only been back here 3.5 years. You wouldn't believe how many thousands of linear feet I've cleaned by hand. That's why I'm in good shape. And maybe I'm a perfectionist, which I am, but I leave areas out there for animals, habitat. I have eastern box turtles. I have monarch butterflies, if anybody cares about that. I do. Well, to show up and just spray my property is very upsetting to me. So I tried to find out who did it. So I assumed somebody at the city did it. So I called Jason Stom. He says, no, we didn't spray it. He says, you might check with the water department. He said, we don't mow over there. I said, okay. And then I called the water department, talked to Jerry, and he goes, no, we didn't spray it. So, okay. I think he said, or Jay said, well, probably the state did, NDOT. I said, okay, well, I'll call them. So I called Josh over at the Jasper office. No, we didn't spray it. So that's what I get from everybody. Somebody did it, but nobody's admitting to it. So I thought, well, I'll just call the state chemist. He'll get to the bottom of it. So I called him. He said, well, I'll be out to inspect it, see if it's a violation. I said, okay. Meanwhile, he had talked. He asked me for their numbers. I didn't say, hey, here, call this person. He asked me for who at the city would I call? I said, well, I talked to these guys here. So he said he talked to Jerry, who's sitting here behind me. He said, no, we didn't do it. And he said he talked to the Jason. No, he said he didn't do it. And he said he talked to the state. He said they're very adamant that they didn't do it. I said, okay. I said, but here's the deal. Is it that big of a deal? Well, it is to me, but it ain't worth ruining my life over. You know what I mean? I said, all they had to do is tell me they did it. And I said, okay, can we have a understanding that we won't do it again? And do a handshake deal and go on your way. They did it. So, when it's already done, being mad ain't going to accomplish anything. But nobody would fess up to it. So can anybody here tell me, including the guys that sit behind me, who is spraying from utility supply, my property, and all the way up to the hotel and all the way down to Ruger Kirstein's new apartments? The state's not doing that.
I have no idea.
And I got pictures on my phone. I'd be glad to show you. But right behind that, what nobody understands is I have milkweed for monarch butterflies. I got pictures of them. I have eastern box turtles, and I have blackberry bushes that I harvest every year. Well, I can't do it. I don't want all that soil that's been contaminated come down what I'm going to be eating. And then I want to know, what did you spray? Anybody has a right to know. I'm out there all the time working, walking. Did they just spray and nobody told me, and I'm walking in wet residue on my shoes, and I take it in my house and my cats lick it and get sick and die? This is not really minor stuff. This is a major deal. All I'm asking is as a courtesy, I'll probably, unless somebody fesses up that they did it, never know who did it. But I guess I'm going to be putting up cameras on my Santa Claus property and Huntingburg property just to see who's encroaching on it all the time. But I don't want to really do that. So I want to be professional about it. But that's unprofessional to show up and spray a property line. So Glenn, you said you saw me out there Sunday. Yeah, so what I did is I went out there Sunday all day, got there at 12, worked till 7:30 at night. Only got cut twice, 2 little bitty times. And hand cleaned up all the dead stuff. But what am I touching here? I had gloves on and, was covered pretty good. And then I trimmed all the trees back because I thought, well, what's going to be next? Somebody's going to show up, start trimming all my trees, not even tell me. So I trimmed all the trees in about 150-foot long tree line. Looks very nice. Now I'm not really done yet, but it's just wrong, to show up on somebody's land. And that's my old farm fence. That's not a highway fence that's there. And I would have got to that area this fall again, but I got the tick disease already being up here by cleaning all these property lines. I got alpha gal. So, I had to stop March 31st. But I went on out there and cleaned that up. But that's important to me. But the main thing was, if somebody would have just said, yeah, I did. I said, look, okay, you did it, but can we have an understanding, just like I told Jason that day I met him on Phoenix Drive, I said, can we have an understanding where you're gonna mow and where you're not gonna mow? Cause I keep that very nice out there. If you look on Phoenix Drive, you know, this is a farm, but it takes me 13 hours to mow that property out there every week. And I got that looking like a golf course on Phoenix Drive. But the city does spray out there, but I just told Jason, I said, let's just don't do it anymore. He said, we're gonna start putting mulch around the poles. I said, well, anything that's along there, I'll weed eat. Cause I just don't want that stuff on my land. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. I don't know if you have any comments on that or,
Is there a right, is this a right of way or something, or is it?
no.
So where is this from?
Is it on the
utilities?
highway?
Is it along the highway?
Yes.
Parallel with the highway?
Yeah, my line touches
Yeah.
the highway.
Mhm.
Utility supply to the.
To the south.
To the south there?
To
the
to
north.
22nd.
I'm right behind utility supply on the highway.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
county
you're
property.
complaining about your property line from there south to 22nd Street.
Yes, and
area.
even Butch that works for the farm just north of me, he was a little upset about it. He goes, well, cause Jerome told me, he goes, did you go out there and spray our property? He goes, no, I didn't do that. He goes, I don't know who did it. I said, well, did you see what they did with mine? Cause I was talking to him the other day about when he's baling hay. He's, well, they even shot through the fence in our hay field. But nobody admits to it.
Yeah, I don't, do we have easements along there?
You have from the state, you do, you have your water line in there.
Be just the state right away, state right away that we're on. Yeah, we didn't do it? Gas, water, electric?
I even asked, my gas guy, brush hogs are easements.
It's odd.
He said he didn't, he don't spray anything.
Any
I
other
was gonna say, he
utilities in
doesn't
there?
spray, so-
Hoosier Energy or, Du Bois REC?
They go east west.
Like John, yeah, that's what I have a hard time with is I've got the same guy that's been mowing. I mean, he's worked for the city for over 50 years. And, you know, this is the first time this has happened. I think your guy mowing's been mowing for quite a while too. So, you know, very out of the normal. This has happened. You know, and like I told Randy, I had to talk to my guys to let them know that, you know, we don't spray out there. We don't, spray fence lines, so.
Street department has a sprayer, but they don't
Speaking of that.
mow that area. They have enough to mow without
Well,
mowing that area.
you know, somebody did it.
Yeah.
Are they mowing it?
So I'm just had to come up here to make sure that
You know,
I want the city to understand I don't want
I'm
chemicals
su-
on my land.
I'm
you
sure
know?
if the superintendents knew, they're not, they're on.
But if you notice out there, somebody sprayed all the way down to Kirstein's apartments.
Did you
Who's
ask-
doing that?
Yeah, have you asked those guys at all? Kruger?
Well, I mean, it goes all the way up to the hotel. Who's spraying all that?
I don't know. There's a road here.
But, so I'm gonna ask you, Jerry, because I didn't hear a return call from you. Will you meet me out there so we can go over that tree line? So I'm, just in case y'all are gonna come out there and trim, you know what I mean, that,
Oh, it's a
Huh?
street.
let me show you what I'm gonna do, so you don't have to.
I don't know even know what it's on.
Cause you're a busy man. Okay,
She just got it on.
thank you.
Sorry
So-
about that,
Sorry,
Randy.
Randy.
Well, you know, it's just irritating, you know? So the second thing is, and I don't know how much you can talk about is, you guys have, the mayor, you have the plans, do you not, of, what Clint Rose has done now out there on the detention pond? So is anybody talking about that? I just need to know. I mean, is it like a,
Well, since
Dead
you
duck
have
in
an
the
attorney,
water.
that's gonna be between the two, our attorney and yours on what we do next, so I don't think we have an agreement that's been agreed.
I mean, are you waiting for somebody or are you waiting for me to pay my attorney another $500 an hour to call you and say, we need to sit down and talk or?
We need some kind of agreement. I'm looking at my attorney before
Well,
that reason.
I mean, yeah, I can't get into the substance of things, but my understanding of the status is that we couldn't construct anything on your property, Randy, because there was a Hoosier Energy easement in the way. And your attorney was trying to get Hoosier Energy to amend their easement, their utility easement, I think it's 50-foot wide easement, to permit construction of storm drainage along the easement. I don't know where that is.
Well, I was,
That's all I know at this point.
I was told the last conversation you had was my attorney, you and Hoosier Energy attorney. who
I did not talk with the Hoosier Energy attorney.
No, it was on a conference call?
No,
You weren't part of the call?
nope. I've seen some.
I thought you
correspondence.
were.
I've seen some correspondence from your attorney to
Okay.
Hoosier Energy.
So, and my attorney told me that there's no issues there. They just wanted one of the poles shored up in case they dug too close to it. So I'm waiting to say, well, so you think I need to go kick my attorney and get going?
I'll let you decide that. I don't know.
But I mean, it's to a point where I've now spent $1,000 on weed eating a wet area over there for all summer long. That's how much I have to spend to weed eat that area 'cause it's always wet. I just thought I'd, ask. I didn't know what you could really say.
We can't enter the property without an easement from them.
Well, my attorney said the only issue they had was, didn't have a problem with the line. They just had a problem with shoring up the telephone poles. But y'all don't know about that?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
No.
So, and the other thing is where the city put a water line out there, the same area I was talking about utility supply, believe it or not, all those rocks are back on my property again. So, I've called the state out there, they looked at it and they said, well, we didn't put that rock there. And I know you remember we talked about that before. They did move them back at one time, but the rocks need to be picked up on my property and not put back in that drainage area, or they need to put bigger rocks so they don't move. I mean, I got a picture of it there. It's, 20-foot long, 10-foot wide area with all the riprap that the city put out there when they did the water lines to cross that little ditch. But now they're over in my property again that I had cleaned the mow.
Were they
It's the white
thrown there?
riprap.
Were they,
Pardon?
did they wash there? Were they thrown there?
Yeah, but the problem wasn't there before until the city put the white rock in that little ravine. So it's the wrong size riprap, so I have to go up there and weed eat that big circle and I can't mow it. But that needs to be picked up on my property. Now, I thought about picking it up Sunday, but I ran out of time and energy and just throw it out there in the yard. And I said, they'll get the message now if I just throw it all out there and they had to pick it up.
This is the first, Randy, every time you called, I've answered your phone call. We've talked about the spray and stuff. This is the first time hearing about the rock personally. But we'll get out there this week and get that taken care of.
Yeah, it just needs to be, it'd probably take 2 guys less than an hour. And you'll see, if you just meet me out there, I appreciate it.
Yep.
So I wouldn't have to come up here, you know what I mean? And waste everybody's time, including mine.
Right.
Okay,
Yep. Nope. If you ever have any problems like that, anything you think
okay,
pertains to the water department, you just give me a call and we'll
okay.
take care of it.
And the other thing in a broad perspective, I watched that whole 8-hour meeting yesterday, y'all did, on and off. But I know you guys are trying, but there's so many issues in this town, I don't know how you're gonna accomplish them. I think the deteriorating buildings is of a concern for me, from what I see. Grass, okay, that's important, but there's some buildings that have totally caved in. I went over there in the alley on Sycamore when I watched a lady named Janet came up here and talked. Hope I don't outdo her on the time, but
You already have.
thank you. But I'm talking about multiple things though. I went over and looked around. I'm thinking, nah, that property ain't really that bad. I see some worse ones in Huntingburg, I really do. But then I go down an alley and I see 2 totally collapsed sheds. This ain't something that just happened overnight. This is like a long-term issue that somebody hasn't addressed. Even the house over there by More for Less, that somebody bought it now and they're trying to do it. I don't know if they can pull that off or not. I've been in construction many years, but they're out there actually framing that old shed that's caved in. I'm thinking wow, really? But how did that building in the back, you can see from the road, just all caved in? How is that allowed to be sitting there for years? And then the building out, I'm just, kind of venting here. I'm gonna feel better sleeping tonight probably. And you guys are talking about it.
We're talking
right.
about it. You're right.
And so if there be 30 people up here like me, they'll probably get more done because then, it'd push. But, you go out toward the IGA, it's the same thing you guys say. I said, look at this building, the wind tore up the siding. I said, oh, how long is that gonna sit there looking like that? Well, what? How many months was it? 5, 6 maybe? What'd they do? Cover it up with house wrap. And now how long is that gonna sit there? But I heard Paul Lake say that's not even a weatherproof membrane, and it's not. That's not a moisture barrier. Zip system's the only way to go because I built houses and I know about, infiltration of water, but that's an eyesore. Something really needs to be done here. And I know you guys are talking about it, but I don't know where it's gonna go. I think you need Instead of giving somebody a raise of $30,000 that wants it, maybe you need to hire a separate person that only does that. And my brother was a code enforcement officer in Irving, Texas, population over about 200,000. He handled, like, I think there was 3 of them. But he's kind of like me by the book. There's no gray area, you know? That can be a great thing. It can be a bad thing. Cause I'm kind of like by the book. And so was he. But he got the thing done. He got it done. There was no leeway or nothing. But I see that building and it kind of depresses me every time I go that way. And
I think your vinyl siding, Glenn, are waiting to be put
it
on.
it is. But, you know, I'm just gonna throw all this out there because I watched you guys talking about it and you talk about it for a long time. As you drive over the road tracks from Mr. Bounds' house, it's like you enter this white maze of white rock everywhere. You know, and to me, Superior Ag is a big company. Why can't they do some kind of landscaping plan? What's not required by the city? Where I came from, well, I'm really from here, but you know, down in Dallas is too much of everything. Too many rules, too much. Here, maybe it's a little bit on the opposite end. But I look at like Superior Ag, where they got their tanks sitting out there and they got piles of gravel and asphalt. It just doesn't really look good. Why isn't somebody thinking like we need a landscaping ordinance? I don't know, you know, what you can make them do or not do, but you know, that kind of helps the city's image when you drive through. You know, they finally tore down the building, but what do you see now? You see a bunch of trash back there on the neighboring property, storage tanks and stuff. And Synergy, you know, I mentioned names. They sit out there and have their tanks right along the road. It just looks like that whole area is nothing but white rock. And if you just kind of look out through there, it really could be improved. You know, same way at the south end of town. When you go around the curve, those couple of rent houses there look bad. And I heard you, Mayor, you said there's 3 renters here in this town that are kind of an issue. I think that's something like what you said. Well, one of them's probably my second cousin. You know, if you look at his properties, they don't look good. Why can't something be done about it? More people like me need to come up here and really, I hate to say it, just say that, because then it will show that people care. You know, I think you're going to have a meeting just to talk about code enforcement so something can get done. That's what I see, you know. I mean, there's some properties in really bad shape, really bad. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Randy.
Appreciate it.
So yesterday, one of the things that we talked about was scheduling a code enforcement meeting. And it's not on the calendar yet, but I think you've got a council here that feels like you do about some of the things we see through town. And there needs to be something done. We agree with you there. And for most of us, it isn't happening fast enough, can't happen fast enough. We also acknowledge that there are special circumstances. People get older. They can't do physically what they used to do to keep their place looking nice.
Become ill, whatever.
There's cases where people just don't have the funds to be able to fix things up. And so trying to have a certain amount of compassion in those instances is important to all of us. But at the same time, we're all proud of our town and we want to remain that way. And so I do appreciate your comments.
I'll just say one thing. What you just said.
Sure.
Right here. Go down Second Street, way to go. Second Street.
And I was a councilman in Texas for a while, so I know, you know. But one idea would be,
Where it is.
you got to get citizens involved. Some people can't afford to fix up their house. Well, you have a lumber company right out here. You have some contractors live in Huntingburg. Maybe, I'm pretty busy, but maybe I wouldn't want to commit to it, but you could probably get a board of citizens together, a volunteer board that would get people together like painters, carpenters. These are professional people that know how to paint. And don't start me on that paint job on one of the buildings on 4th Street recently. But, and then maybe they go out to a house, maybe they like there's a house, the one by More for Less, maybe that was his deal, right? An older man and he passed away. But maybe they could have got a crew together that went over there, and maybe Steinkims would have donated some materials, and we get professional carpenters to show up and painters, and we knock that house out. Boom, just like that, at least on the outside. maybe that's an option. But, you know, kind of like a habitat, but in a different form and role. But you need people who care. But that could make a big difference.
Just
know?
so you know, the group that's doing the house at Second and Main have done hundreds of these across Indiana. That's the reason I contacted them specifically for that house. They were in charge of the West Baden Springs and the French Lick Springs Hotel renovations. They're master renovators. They
Yeah, I-
do. And the gentleman that's doing that work has done dozens of homes down in the New Albany area. So
Okay.
that's contact them and say, hey, I didn't want a slumlord to buy that and try to rent it
know.
like it was.
I know.
And
Well, that's what I was hoping, but I didn't see much progress on it, just watching right now, a couple boards here or there, you know, I said,
Yeah.
well, I hope they know what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
But that was just a suggestion, you know, maybe it takes a group of people together that volunteers, I don't know.
yeah, that's Indiana Landmarks that's doing that. So that's.
Thank you.
Thanks,
they
Franny.
do more, but-
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
I did have
Any
one more thing.
opposed?
Just
Oh,
a
you-
reminder, Fourth Friday this weekend.
Fourth
and
Friday.
That's right.
Southbridge Homecoming this weekend on Friday, both Fridays. So big weekend.
All right.
Yep. Okay. Now you can.
All right, we got a
All in favor
motion,
to
we got a
adjourn.
first and
Aye.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Shut her down, Pam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sit down now.
Is that one working?
Missed a phone call from.
Oh,